The elemental monkeys are some of the most hated bunch of Pokemon out there, and that's saying a lot because there's some really lame Pokemon designs. In fact, Seer was actually voted the worst Pokemon to ever be created in a Japanese poll. You see all of these Pokemon, these 700 plus at the time of the poll, this guy was ranked dead last. Now, why is that? Well, the biggest issue that I can think of is that they're boring. Simusage is the best out of the three, which isn't saying much, but at least it got funky hair and some actual grass type like elements to it. The other two are just monkeys colored red and blue respectively. In total, they take up a whopping 6 slots in the Pokédex. You can't just hog that much space while essentially being palette swaps of sorts and be this boring of designs. Especially since this is also the generation with the Genie Trio, which are even worse examples of palette swaps. But at least with them, they eventually got some pretty cool alternate forms. Now for this video, we're not only going to be giving them new evolutions, but fixing their entire execution as Pokemon. Because the worst part about them is that they had potential to be such interesting Pokemon. First, let's take a look at their functions in the games they were introduced in, as that'll be the inspiration for their final designs. You receive one as a gift Pokemon right before facing off against the first gym leader, which can be one of 3 trainers, all of which also uses one of the elemental monkeys as their ace. Specifically, the monkey that's super effective against the starter you picked. The monkey you're given though is the one that's weak to your starter, and by extension, super effective against the monkey the gym leader is going to be using against you. So they're basically a tutorial on type matchups and teach you that having Pokemon of all different types in your team is beneficial when continuing through the game. Now the Pan Monkeys design-wise are actually quite alright. They're all cute little guys, each with their own flair that look like they have a promising evolutionary line. The Simonkeys as middle evolution Pokemon range from mediocre to okay in terms of design, but it's their middle stage evolution. They got plenty of time to grow and mature. Oh wait, no, this is their final evolution. This is as far as these poor little things go, and it's kind of depressing. I mean, the Simonkeys feel like the awkward middle evolution that most starters fall victim to, like Piplup, Pignite, Quilladin, and so on, but who never got that final evolution to bring out their true potential. Can you imagine how forgettable most of their starters would be if they just stopped at their middle evolution? So why stop with these Pokemon that act as a kind of second starter in their games of origin? Being a trio of grass, water, and fire type Pokemon, having the same gender ratio as the starters, as well as later getting the standard starter ability of Overgrowth, Blaze, or Torrent respectively as a hidden ability. These are the only non-starters that can learn these abilities, by the way. With all that, why not continue the trend and make them feel like an actual fully fledged secondary starter by giving them a final evolution just like the rest? But these monkeys are now going to be taking up a total of 9 slots in the Pokédex, so there needs to be something really special about them to justify their inclusion. Final thing to note before we go over these evolutions is that since the Simonkeys are no longer final evolutions, we'll be nerfing their base stats by a bit, leaving them at 425 rather than 498, and taking this opportunity to fix another major issue: the fact that all 3 Simonkeys have the exact same stat distribution. This to me is incredibly dumb. It's almost like Game Freak wanted these Pokemon to be forgettable. So with these debuffs, we're going to be giving them differing stat spreads from each other, just to further differentiate and add that little bit of uniqueness and individuality to them. We're also going to be changing this to all of them evolve at level 18 to their semi-evolution. So rather than using a stone, they'll evolve once they reach a certain strength by using the element they were born with. But we'll be keeping the idea they need a stone to evolve for their final stage. Now this is where the twist comes in. When you enter Driftville City, there'll be a scientist near the gym, and if you speak with him with one of the monkeys in your party, he'll tell you that there are certain Pokemon that need a special elemental stone to evolve, mentioning your Simonke as an example. He'll then give you a stone that your Pokemon is weak to. At this point, you the player will probably be pretty confused. He'll continue by saying these Pokemon are an unusual case though. The Monkey Trio all share a very similar DNA structure when they start out, hence why as Pan Monkeys they have the same base stat total with the same stat spread. However, it's them using the element that they're born with that makes them branch away from each other as they evolve. But all the monkeys in their core DNA structure have the capability of the other 2 types, it's just dormant. With the use of an elemental stone, it awakens that dormant type and mixes with the typing that becomes so efficient in using. Now there's honestly 2 directions you can take this video in now. Having it be the typing that they're weak to or strong to. The one that they're strong to holds merit, as then you will have technically all 3 of the starter typings in your team. While the one that they're weak to, if you're keeping your original starter, at least in Generation 5, you will now have 2 of the same types. For this video, we're going to be going with the type that they're weak to, and saving the other direction for a future video. First up is Simusage's evolution. For it, I wanted to incorporate different aspects of tribal warriors, as well as the emotion of rage and fury, taking inspiration from Baboon's high level of aggression and imposing nature. Along with having its new element of fire represents wise monkey inspiration, in this case the Speak No Evil monkey Iwazaru. And this is going to be a reoccurring element that all the elemental monkeys are going to share in their design, with the Seer line representing the Hear No Evil monkey Kikazaru and the Poor line representing the See No Evil monkey Mizaru, as well as their proportions being more humanoid. Think the typical depiction of the Monkey King Sun Wukong. Giving Simusage the Firestone awakens its dormant fire typing, igniting a burning spirit within it, evolving it into Prime Sage, the combustion Pokemon. Now a grass fire type, the leaves that once surrounded his body are almost entirely burnt off, leaving it mostly naked except for its arms and legs. Prime Sages cover their now bare skin in green war paint markings to instill fear in their opponent, as well as having an inextinguishable fire in their always open mouth with steady streams of smoke bellowing from their jowls. Featuring a burning bush tail, using their grass type feature almost as a fuel source for their fire attacks. When attacking, it taps into that fiery spirit, with its body temperature being in direct correlation with its level of aggression. As it attacks, the smoke bellowing from its muzzle becomes violent and flows unpredictably. It has Flash Fire as its ability and Intimidate as its hidden, with its base stats making it an excellent bulky special attacking wall breaker, sporting a 98, 70, 90 defensive spread and an impressive 135 special attack, but being fairly slow at 65 base speed. Prime Sage's signature move is Ashen Storm, burning a layer of its charred leaf-like gauntlet and leggings, using the ashes to create a fiery storm that engulfs his opponent. It's a base 120 special fire move with 95% accuracy. It has a 20% chance to burn the target, but lowers the user's defense and special defense as a result. Next up is Simusage. For its evolution, I wanted to give it a bit of a glow up, taking this very derpy, silly looking pot-belly Pokemon and giving it a much more confident and battle-hardened look to it, taking inspiration from the Brawler and Monk classes in RPGs as well as real life. The Simi monkeys always look like they were in their awkward teen phase, so with these evolutions I wanted to give them a more mature vibe to them, as if to show in the end they found their way. Giving it a Water Stone awakens its dormant water typing, evolving it into Prime Seer, the boiling water Pokemon. Now a fire water type, the inner fire begins boiling up the water within its body, steam flowing out the head, regulating the core body temperature while in a neutral state, with their ears fully submerged in water, making it so they're no longer distracted from their surroundings, giving them a very tunnel vision-like effect to their way of battling, focusing purely on what's right in front of them. When attacking, the fire inside burns up even hotter, using the energy created to boost the power of their punches. The slimmed down tail is used to release a large amount of steam from the tip as it attacks to ensure they don't just end up burning out. However, they can purposely push their bodies even further to use that steam as more than just a regulating tool. This is where their signature move comes into play, Evaporating Blitz. The inner fire within Prime Seer burns up even hotter to an almost dangerous level, releasing an uncontrollable amount of steam from its tail, enveloping itself in a fog, using it as cover to blindside the opponent with a fierce strike. It's a base 85 physical water move with a high critical hit rate. They have Water Absorb as their standard ability and Iron Fist for the hidden. Stat-wise, they make for excellent fast physical attackers with 128 attack and 120 base speed. Finally, there's Simipour. So for me, this is actually my least favorite of the trio. I've always found its miniskirt to be a little bit on the weird side and never really cared for its goofy look. The hardest part was thinking of a way to incorporate the grass typing. The other two in comparison were much easier. Grass was a fuel source for Prime Sage's fire, and for Prime Seer's fire and water combination, the only logical route to take with it was boiling water and steam. It just made too much sense not to go that route. But with grass and water, we only had the Ludicolo line for some type of guidance, which wasn't much. In the end, I felt the best route would be to have the water type nourish the newly introduced grass elements, and make the Pokemon one with nature. Giving it a Leaf Stone awakens its dormant grass typing, evolving it into Primepour, the harmonious Pokemon. Now a water grass type, the addition of being able to manipulate this element complemented its previous water typing perfectly. Primepours wrap most of their vine-like tail around the waist to not get in their way, as well as cover their eyes with a vine-like blindfold so they can be better in tune with their other senses. Now being able to feel movement through their connection with nature and react based on their heightened hearing and instincts. The blue fur-like dress of Simipour now extends all the way down, giving off a samurai robe feel. They're commonly seen using their mastery of manipulating water to create a heavily pressurized stick as their preferred way of fighting. Primepours have the ability Sap Sipper and their hidden abilities Guts. They're Pokemon that that will likely always get the first hit at a whopping 135 base speed, and can pack quite a punch close up and at a distance with 110 physical attack and 100 special. Its signature move is Coated Swing. When preparing for the attack, it manipulates the elements within it, coating the water stick with intertwining branches comprised of poisonous petals. The toxic tip of the petals have a chance to inflict a number of different status effects, and if the enemy is already inflicted with one, the toxins will act almost like salt being poured on an open wound. It's a base 70 physical grass move that has a 20% chance to inflict one random status effect to the opposing Pokemon, and if the Pokemon is already inflicted with a status effect, the move's power doubles. So that's how I'd fix these otherwise pretty boring and kinda hated Pokemon. But more importantly, how would you guys go about it? Would you give them a different secondary type or just simply adjust their semi designs? I'm curious to see what you guys come up with. Also very important, this video couldn't have been possible without DavuDude. I had him commission the art and in my opinion he nailed the concept and design. He's an incredibly talented artist, so show him some love. His Instagram is linked down below. With that, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you liked it, leave a like, share it around, subscribe for more. I got a new series coming up that I'm very excited about. And if you enjoyed this, you might enjoy my other videos, so check them out.